Welcome to Sacred Conversations with Mandulo, where we help you simply recalibrate your nervous system and rewire your brain. So, helping you understand certain psychological things about why your body's communicating the way it is, why certain things are happening into your life. And today's topic is about why you, as a creative, an artist, a healer, a teacher, fear sharing your body of work and how to overcome it. So there are 5 reasons, possible reasons why. It's not the only reasons. I'm just going to break it down into 5 for time purposes, and then you have an antidote to these. So what can you do to overcome part of these fears that you have? Please do not forget, before I continue, to like, share, and subscribe. It helps support this channel and to extend this message to those artists, healers, creatives, teachers who need that support and just that extra sort of energy to support their capacity to share. That was a long way of saying that. Okay, so the first reason: you are still learning how to translate what you have experienced. So whatever you have received, because this is spiritual, because you are now a portal that is channeling information from divine, and you are putting it in a body of work, and you're trying to put together as well as you can detail that expresses what you saw or what you saw and felt from the other side, the messages from the divine to you. The second reason: as a creative artist, healer, and teacher, you feel people's feelings and discomforts in advance. Why? Because you are an empath. You are a mirror for the world. And you often take people's judgments as your own. So basically, because you see in advance, you are experiencing people's judgments. You're experiencing the possible low vibrational energy. Because remember, like I said, you are a channel between the two worlds of spirit and earth/ego, right? And if you are a channel that is giving us information on what you have seen, what messages are there from the other side, and because you see in advance on a bigger scheme of things, even if you don't know, I'm just telling you that you do know on a certain level. So I'm speaking to an aspect of you that really, really does know this information. And this is going to propel you to get a little bit closer to what it is. So you're already taking people's judgments of your own. Because you are a portal, you are in your highest, hopefully, in your highest alignment when you're channeling this information, right? When you have to come back down to earth to be able to translate this information from your body of work to people, basically, you are feeling already what's on the other side of judgment and fear, because they haven't seen what you've seen. So there's fear that is consistent with that relationship, right? So because you have taken the judgments of your own as your own, up until you recognize that it is not, that is what you fear. And that is why you fear sharing. Okay, the third reason is that you fear where your inspiration comes from and being vulnerable about it. So because, like I said, you are a portal between the spirit world and the physical world for us, right? We are all doing the same thing, but from your behalf, you're seeing, you with your guides are seeing different things to interpret for us, right? Because then that propels something that creates something else, and then creates something else, and then it just becomes this ripple effect that is going to be, that is infinite, really. So you fear your inspiration. When you are in inspiration, you are in spirit. So already you are tapped in, and you could be tapped in unconsciously, right? So that's what becomes vulnerable. And this is where it leans you into building a better relationship with the divine, with God, source energy, whatever you call that which sources you and that which gives you life. Okay. The fourth reason is that you fear the question of how do you know? As a artist, creative, teacher, healer, you grew up very fast. Typically, you would have grown up very fast. You would have felt the world. You would have felt a lot of the world. And people would have questioned how you knew what you felt. But you couldn't articulate that. So you would be called things. You would be put in the corner. You'd be, given medication early, depending on what school you were in, what sort of like system was supporting your holistic health, or supporting the sort of like schooling system for a more linear path and ease for guardians or your guides, here on earth. Okay, so you fear the question, how do you know? And it's like, we live in a world, fortunately or unfortunately, depends on the spectrum that you take it, either or, it just is that how do you know is that you just know. And God just is. No one till this day can fully describe what this isness is, this magnificence is. But we are all channels allowing ourselves to be able to translate this information and translate these messages that we see from the other side. And then the fifth possible reason of why you fear sharing your body of work is that you fear rejection. Okay? And you fear, the rejection is you fearing yourself and your power. It's you fearing your, it's connected to your power. And then it's also connected to this sense of safety, a sense of belonging to community, that if you share something that is odd for people who are against tapping into the spirit world, then you would find a sense of rejection, a feeling of rejection, and that would be rejecting yourself too. But that's on a deeper level. For those of you who know, what I'm talking about when I say that ultimately this is all you anyways. I'm just here to remind you. I'm just an external and additional voice, also channeling from the other side in order for you to just remember, possible reasons as to why you're fearing and just how to overcome it. And then the antidote to these. Okay, so one, I said you are still learning how to translate what you have experienced. The possible antidote is be patient with yourself and learn how to have fun with this thing. As a channel, you are remembering the inner child. You are remembering that inner freedom that you had before you had to grow up quickly, right? So if you can be patient and if you can look at yourself as a child who's crawling, then it's a little bit easier when you sort of feel the judgment of the world or you feel the rejection from yourself. Okay. And then this is just something that you are remembering. And I hope that you can take everything as a practice, that no one is asking you to perform anything. Just to be yourself is a wonderful thing. But in order to be yourself and fully be yourself takes practice as well. It's like a interesting conundrum that happens. And what was said here too is that the less performance pressure you put on yourself, the better. Now, this performance and pressure comes into the energy of perfection, which lies into the energy that is the one relationship we all need to heal between the doing and the being. And that also relates to the generations before, even prior to your parents' arrival, what you are healing within your generation. Okay. So that's the doing and the being. Up until those two are in harmony and are in divine union, you are always going to be finding opposing energies and connection and agreement. So basically, there's certain parts of your conditioning that will override your heart and what your heart really says that it wants. And that's where the rewiring of the brain is important, because you have to stand firm in who you are as a channel, so that, you know, the world is always asking you, who do you say you are? And you are given ample opportunity to do that through your body of work, through each conversation, through what you post, through what you listen to, through how you act, even when no one is looking. It's very important too, you know, that who is channeling has the same energy here on on the physical plane. Okay, and then two, the second reason was you feel people's feelings because you are a mirror and an empath, and you feel their judgments early on. Okay, so the antidote to that would be, first you need to know that you are a mirror, because you are a channel for the divine. You are a portal between the spirit world and the physical world for us. And we are all. And that's why I said it's a consciousness that takes place, or you can be unconscious, but either or, it is happening. And then learn how to alchemize any low vibrational energy into the highest vibration. The best ways to do that, from my perspective, is breathwork, meditation, movement, sound, and touch. I'm always going to obviously advocate for what I do. I mean, because then what's the purpose of what I do? You know what I mean? It's always going to be a recurring thing if you continue to listen on this channel. And then the third reason, you fear where your inspiration comes from and being vulnerable about it. The antidote to that is you have not fully and are fearful of the spirit world. So you haven't quite built that full relationship between you and the divine. So being able to trust your intuition, to trust yourself fully in what you have felt from the other side and seen from the other side, and being able to implement that here on this side of the physical world. Okay. So what I said here is prayer, offer prayer, gratitude, and meditation here. It really assists you to stay in alignment, or as in alignment as you are constantly receiving information, because like I said, you are a portal. So you are constantly going to receive, specifically when you do deeper healing work and you remove the conditioning, that veil, once it becomes super thin and once you lock into oneness and divine union, it's like endless possibilities. Okay, so I would just say also stay curious about everything. And then we had the fourth reason why you fear sharing is the question of how do you know? Like, how do you know? Like I said, when you were younger, you knew something in you, just knew either you were different or whatever it was the case, but you couldn't explain it and you didn't have the words. So then you dived deep into being able to understand it by studying and being very curious about that particular art and getting the language to be able to translate that to people. So here it says, when you don't know how to translate, the solution to this is when you don't know how to translate what you know, then set your boundaries too. Because the thing is, when you don't set your boundaries, when people are pushing you, some people do that on purpose, where they know that up until you are strong in yourself and your being, then you would they would be able to easily push you over, you know, that if you're still stuck in the people pleasing state of mind, then it will be easier for them to infringe on your boundaries and infringe on your sense of safety. So I would work on safety for myself. What is safety? Redefine what safety is. Create safety and boundaries. And perhaps use the words, right now it's open to your interpretation. So like, let's say you are a body of work. You've created a body of work, whatever it is. And now someone's asking you, how do you know? Create a space where you can converse together, to learn together, versus say this, versus to say, this is what I know and this is fact. Open up that conversation to invite them into your world, into your portal too, to go, okay, so this is what I've seen from the other side, and this is how I've seen it, and this is how I can interpret it. What do you see from this, right? So you can also use those things. And it's also okay to just say, I don't know right now. It's not that you'll never know, it's just in this moment you don't know. And it's okay to do that. Okay, and then the last reason you fear rejection, once again, this has to do with your self-acceptance, a sense of belonging and safety. So here, I would start making the relationship with yourself and that which gives you life, the divine, the most important relationship that you can ever focus on, because all these relationships that we have, whether it's romantic or non-romantic, are trying to get us to divine union within ourselves before we can be, quote unquote, equally yoked with somebody else. You got to be yoked within yourself. Like, you got to find oneness between your spirit world, your spirit self, and your ego self, your physical self. You got to find oneness and agreement that the two are speaking in one conversation, your head, your heart, and your body. The divine feminine and the divine masculine energy within you, just finding complete divine union within self. Okay, so it's just about like effort and exploration, and it's about holding space for yourself with patience. If you do feel encouraged that you are hitting a block and you really need that extra support and conversation, or you want to go through my sort of work, is using meditation as a body of work to be able to help you create a clearer portal for yourself so that you can translate easier what you've seen from the other side. How I do that is meditation through the breath work and meditation, like guiding, visual, and like breath, and then very gentle movements, that's also included. And then also the breath work meditation / meditation with sound, voice frequency with sound bowls as well, and then also with touch with massage. So depending on what feels most accessible for you, please do get in touch for one-on-one coaching, embodiment coaching, intimacy coaching, relationship coaching, just allowing you to holistically heal whatever barrier is causing, you from sharing what you've seen, because your voice needs to be heard. That's why you're here. So I just want to encourage you today, as a creative, as an artist, as a teacher and a healer, that where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. This information is going to be extremely vital for you to move forward. So I hope that you've taken those notes, you've taken 5 problems and you've got 5 solutions, and work with what feels the most easiest for you. And if you feel that feels too heady for you and you feel too stuck and you want to work with me, once again, like I said, my email is in the details below. And once again, like, share, and subscribe. And we will be connecting soon.